Alright guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at SoundHound. I want to be very quick with this one. So last time we talked about this one, whether it's going to hit 10 bucks or 30 bucks plus. And I was giving an example of, so it looks like January 14th. I was giving it an example of how it could play out. Example of Marathon Digital last year were similar, I want to say, situation we are in right now. So if I go back to, okay, I'll show you guys the chart before we go there. Similar price action were similar market capitalization stock. Marathon Digital goes up at the end of 2023 from 10, 11 all the way to like 30 bucks, and then chops around for about like 5, 10 trading sessions or so, and then comes right back down to the 50-day moving average. And it consolidates for actually more than 10 trading sessions. And then it just goes right back up to this high, tests that high, and then pulls back again towards 50-day moving average, and then breaks out to 34. So this is the price action I was comparing it with, just purely because of its capitalization. And usually the similar market capitalization have similar patterns, and the way they trade very, very similar. Even though this is moving now, I mean, back then Marathon was moving because of Bitcoin, right? It's a miner, and it was very, very bullish in the beginning of the year, and it did move the way it moved. But what is the catalyst for SoundHound AI? So this is an AI stock. We all know that. And I don't look at fundamentals as much as a lot of people do, because most of my trades are in and out. Okay, so last time I traded this one, I walked away with 1,000%, somewhere around here. And ever since, I haven't traded, and I was telling that, it's gonna chop around at this 50-day moving average for quite some time. And if it doesn't break this 50-day moving average or $12 levels, it is most likely gonna come back and maybe even break out of this level. So the catalysts for these names are now, was it how many billion? So new administration, we have a new president now. There is an infrastructure bill, right? I don't know, did it pass? Did it go through? How much? What is it? 500 billion. Trump announces private sector, 500 billion AI infrastructure investment. So this is pretty much pushed. Of course, there are bigger plays than this one, okay? This is a small cap play. It can move faster, such as Oracle was moving, ARM, ARM. Where are you? ARM, Oracle, what else? NVIDIA. So many AI names, actually. But those are large cap names, right? But SoundHound, did BBAI. These are the like smaller caps that I'm watching to potentially maybe trade these names if there's going to be some sort of a flow. So what I'm watching for SoundHound from here now. Well, it did close at $16.50. Pretty big bounce, 20% for the stock. You can see it didn't crack below 50-day moving average for the like 5-6 trading sessions. Ever since, it has pulled back almost like 50% from its highs, maybe a little bit less, 45%. Now, we do have a little bit of a resistance tomorrow. I know after market close, this stock is trading a little bit higher. I just don't know where it's going to open, and I'm filming it pretty much in the middle of the night. So 20-day moving average. So this blue line on my chart represents the 20-day moving average. So this level for tomorrow, it is looking like $18.17. I want to see how it reacts at these levels, but at the same time, if it does get back above it, and if it starts pushing, and if it's going to look like Marathon, where it pretty much quickly, like 4 or 5 trading sessions, it went right back to testing its all-time highs after coming down 50%. Well, I would be watching first level 19, but we know there's a lot of back holders right here at these levels, right? A lot of people who get trapped. Again, this is not something that I came up with. This is what market says. Like anybody who's underwater, I mean, people call it bag holders, and it has been that way for years and years. Okay, so what happens when you see this situation where stock comes down and then there's a recency bias, right? So there's a lot of people right here wishing to get out to break even. Once this move, if it, again, I'm purely speculating to the upside at the moment, but again, I will show you downside potentials as well. In any of my videos, pretty much I talk about all three scenarios, but for some reason somebody watches the freaking first 2 minutes or 5 minutes and then they're like, oh, you are screaming one way, this is flying another way, or dumping another way. No, I mean, it's just you take what you want to take. So it's a confirmation bias. You want to listen to what you want to listen to. So the bullish case here is this market has to digest this level in order for this name to break out of 25. But ultra short term, 19 resistance, I would say. And to the downside, well, so far, as long as 50-day moving average holds, it is still looking pretty good. Pretty much it can consolidate here, or if it wants to just fly right back up, if we're going to see pretty much strong momentum in overall market. You saw today it pretty much traded with a little bit outside of its range. On average, it trades 75 million shares. Today it had a little bit more, somewhere around 90 million volume. So this is the resistance level. Okay, to the downside. Well, now let's switch to 15-minute chart. I'm going to show you different price action where for the last 5 trading session or so, you can see every pop in the morning pretty much been selling off. And today looked like it too, but it bounced off a 50-day moving average and it bounced with volume, and then it just kept going. So by looking at this chart, I mean, does it have more gas in the tank? This is what I want to look at. So I was looking at it actually earlier myself to see what are the short volume on average. Volume meaning on that particular day, what was the percentage of the volume short and what percentage was long. So today 55% people were long, yesterday 58%, the day before yesterday 55%. So relatively not as high short volume than some of the other like quantum names that were just flying. And another way I look at, so this is the reason why I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it to see what is the chance of pretty much short squeeze, and this name pretty much taking shorts for a ride. Another thing I look at it is borrowing fee for short shares available. Again, I'm just looking at Interactive Brokers, that there are many other brokers, but if Interactive Brokers saying that they can locate you only 60,000 shares to short at some point, if it's something like this is very low. I mean, this is not a lot to short. And at the same time, if the fee keeps rising, that means there are people want to short, but there's not available shares to short. That's when you see short squeeze, just like with RGTI that I gave an example like a couple days ago, and people just completely avoided that part where, like, when you see borrowing, like if there's no shares to borrow and the float has decent short already, I mean, this is a perfect recipe for a squeeze if there's going to be a little bit more buyers. So this stock, 336 million outstanding shares, 25% of the float is short. So I mean, these are small caps, we know. I mean, these are not profitable companies. These are pretty much speculative risk on names that pretty much thrive when we have yields coming down. I mean, bond yields pretty much cooled off a little bit. And when you see dollar, I keep an eye on DXY. You can watch UUP, whatever you want to watch. when DXY pretty much comes down dollar, you see people pile into the small caps. Okay, so you want to keep an eye on those macros as well. You want to keep an eye on, in general, like IWM was pretty much melting today as well. Today was what, 2% up. So far, to me, I mean, again, by looking at this chart, yes, pretty nice bounce. I myself, when it comes to trading myself, a lot of people think that I talk my position when I make a video. No, absolutely not. If I have any position, even before I start any talking about any stock, I tell what I have done with the stock, and then I start talking about what I think from there. So I don't talk about stocks that I'm holding or options that I'm trading unless I execute them. Then I will let know in the beginning of the video. But I'm not one of those YouTubers who are pretty much bearish on a stock and just pretty much they talk their position. They're like, yeah, I'm bearish. I mean, I think it has to go down. No, I mean, I make a video mostly where I don't have a position, so I'm objective with my view of the situation, like reading the option flows, reading the pretty much short float and all that stuff. So by looking at today's stats of the option activity, it didn't look like that it's like people were coming in crazy. But yeah, there was 180,000, definitely more calls traded, 90,000 puts, and 45% of the calls that came in, they were purchased at the asking price. So which means people were betting to the upside, whether it's spreads or not. And by looking at some of the orders, I can say I don't see the flow that is attacking one certain strike price. I'm seeing January 31st, which is shorter dated $20 strike, but it's not a lot of contracts for me to follow that trade. So I usually want to see like thousands of trades where people are just buying that contract. I usually follow those people. If it's a smart money, like big money coming in, like 10 million, 15 million, for these small caps, it's a pretty large trade. And I follow those guys. If I'm bullish on a stock and I see a bullish flow, then I will follow them. But so far, by looking at today's price action, there's not much happening. There's one spread 25 for July, but I don't see the second leg of it. But also one large put, so the largest volume that is standing out, pretty much 30 minutes before market close, somebody bought April $11 put, 3,000 contracts at $1.15. And the reason why I'm saying it's a buying, it's because they paid above asking price. So the bid and ask was $1.10 and the asking price $1.14. They paid $1.15 to get into this $11 put. So this is something that is standing out to me. But other than that, in terms of option activity, there's not much standing out, but it doesn't mean anything. Flows can come in tomorrow, or option market could be thinking that these contracts are pretty expensive and just pretty much traded with smaller size or deeper in the money. You got to do read through all of these orders that are coming in during a day and decide for yourself. But these videos are purely for entertainment purposes only. Implied volatility high, so it is a bit pricey for me too. But if there's going to be some day trading opportunities, yeah, I might take it. But so far, I don't have a position on this one. But so far, pretty nice bounce. Can it push towards these 24? And possibly that test this all-time high? Yeah, very likely it can do that, but that is large move. So from today's closing price, pretty much 50% move. That is large move. So this is a mid-cap stock, 6 billion market capitalization. So you're pretty much saying that it's going to move 3 billion. So it's going to add 3 billion to its capitalization if you think that it's going to go back to 25 at some point. But I think it's going to do... It's going to go, it has never been a smooth ride, even after this stock traded out, pretty much broke out of these levels. Yeah, it's going to move a couple days and then chop around, and it's going to be something like this. But again, if it just catches people off guard, and cracks through the 19, yeah, it might happen a little bit faster, but I'm watching 19 so far as a resistance. So that's the video for SoundHound. Thanks for watching. If you guys new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe. We usually talk about these things in Discord, so you can check it out. Discord, it's pretty much free for everyone to join. Take care. Peace.